Hello everyone, I'm here today to do an in-depth sniff and review of the Bath & Body Works test candle collection of the Aloha Hawaii line of candles. This is currently appearing in test stores. It may or may not go wide. I would assume lately it seems like most of their test lines do release wide. Maybe 4 out of 7 scents will go wide, maybe 7 of 7 will. It's really hard to say. I'm not really sure how they're handling sort of their test market at this point. But there's a good chance that sometime over the next few months, throughout the spring, or even sooner, you'll see some, if not all, of these in your local stores. You most likely have seen the first video I did, which was just a quick overview listing sort of the description of the candles, the labels, the wax, and reading you the notes. But this one's going to be more of the true in-depth sniff and review. Now, I know I tend to run on and talk at length about candles, especially when I'm doing, in-depth reviews like this, but I'm going to try to keep it fairly short. This, in some ways, is actually a simple collection, or kind of easy to describe, because we've smelled so many notes that are in these, or we have similar fragrances to these. Tropical fragrances are by no means new to any Bath & Body Works fan, either body care or home fragrance. I was going to break this up into a few different videos for time's sake, but I started recording one of them, and it just really, I was kind of blowing through them quickly, and I figured we can condense this all into one video. So I may go a little quickly because I know that folks don't, love when I do my 30-40 minute videos. But if you want anything more in-depth, or a post-burn review, or just really anything more in-depth with any of these, feel free to let me know, and I can work that into the video schedule. But let's get started right here with 1 of 7. Now, this is the full collection as far as I'm aware. The first one we're reviewing today is the Lanikai Coconut. Kind of a bland gray colored wax. You can see my Christmas lights reflecting in the wax. Again, as crazy as it is to be reviewing tropical scents in late December, that is where we're at. Pretty label, not sure of the flower. I assume some sort of, indigenous flower that they use for leis or something like that. Not really sure, but it is a pretty label. The notes on it are: be transported by a blend of sweet coconut milk, seawater, and palm tree leaves, inspired by Hawaii's beautiful Lanikai beach. So even though there's a flower on here, they're really just telling us sweet coconut milk, seawater, and palm tree leaves. So seawater is a hard one to figure out what they're trying to say, but let's give it a shot. First, I'll smell the lid. The more I smell this, I really love it. Coconut is kind of hit or miss for me. If they make coconut too juicy or sweet or really bright, like a pina colada kind of coconut, I don't really love it. And in many ways, coconut does not come off authentic with Bath & Body Works. For a few years there in at least 2011 and 12, every collection that they were doing had coconut in it left and right, as far as the body care and even some of the home fragrance. And this does, it is that type of coconut that you got in the Coconut Signature Collection, and other, coconut fragrances around that time, as far as a sort of, not a juicy, somewhat sweet, but not sugary sweet, but, a sort of coconut meat or coconut milk. Not very, very intense, not your, not your suntan lotion or suntan oil kind of artificial coconut, more of an authentic coconut. This actually reminds me a bit of, I'm not sure the brand, but some hair care brand, like a salon brand, either, it might be Paul Mitchell, something along those lines, has like an I'm not sure, like awapuhi, something, shampoo, and I think it smells fairly similar to that. Just a nice coconut. It's not soapy, but it does remind me of that shampoo. So if you're familiar with that, that's what this smells like to me. So it definitely, say, comparing it to a coconut leaves. Coconut leaves is more pure coconut mixed with, or rather more intense coconut, mixed with like the cooling greens and a little bit of nectarine mint, or excuse me, just nectarine, no mint, just green. Whereas this is a very light coconut. Seawater, not really sure what they mean by that. And greens, coconut leaves has more greens than this does. So overall, let me get a sniff here. Yeah, the wax is very, very light to me. I can barely even get a smell from it. I'm getting more from the lid. Overall, it's a light, true, authentic, sweet coconut, but very light. It's more towards coconut milk, not like not like a sweetened coconut meat or any kind of, certainly no bakery kind of coconut. So that's Lanikai Coconut. Either way, I really enjoy it. I think it's pretty nice. Next up, we've got, let's see, how can I do this? Try to move these on the line up here, the conveyor belt of candles, is Pineapple Palm Grass. Really nice, intensely yellow-orange wax with what I assume is a pineapple plant on there. Not really sure. It almost looks like the what, bird of paradise, I think, flower. The notes are a fresh tropical fragrance inspired by the beautiful pineapple fields and exotic green foliage of the Hawaiian Islands. So they're just saying pineapple and foliage. So pineapple and, greens, which palm grass, hard to say if anyone, amongst us knows what that actually smells like. And excuse me, I'm getting over a cold here, so I'm trying not to cough. This is a pure, juicy pineapple. On first sniff, it reminds me very much of like the pineapple mango candle, obviously without any sort of mango in it. But it is juicy in that same way. Like this is, if you cut pineapple, not even canned pineapple or pineapple juice, but a fresh cut pineapple that's chilled, that's just dripping with sugar, very, very intense, the color of this wax, very intense sugars in this, in the pineapple, but natural sugars. And incredibly sweet. It makes your mouth water because it's also acidic. And just biting into that sort of almost what I feel like is a burst of sweet, cold fruit juiciness. And that's really what this is. There's nothing, tropical exotic as far as any kind of greens within this. To me, it's really just pure, straight and away pineapple. Fresh cut pineapple. So if you love pineapple, you will love this. If you're looking for a more sophisticated blend or something, you won't get it. That's not at all what this is, which is fine. It's a tropical collection, and pineapple is your ultimate tropical. So, moving along here. So 2 down, 5 to go. We can do it. Next up, Rainforest Sugarcane. I was excited by this because it sounds watery, it sounds fresh. Who knows what a rainforest smells like? Not me. But you think green, watery, fresh, maybe a little herbal, maybe a little sweet. Who knows? The label here is just of a waterfall in the middle of a rainforest, and it's a dark, sort of evergreen colored wax. The notes are, venture into Hawaii's rainforest with an intriguing mixture of fresh lime, raw sugarcane, and rare vanilla orchid. Now, I'm not sure what a vanilla orchid is, if it is an orchid that smells like vanilla, or if it's just called a vanilla orchid based on the color, or what. If it's purely a floral fragrance, I really have no idea. But they're saying lime, sugarcane, and this vanilla orchid. And also this wax, the wax amongst these are all different, but this one is super weird. It's like very like texture. It's pebbled almost, like it's kind of gross looking, but it's interesting that they're working with different formulations of wax and mixes of oils and wax. This is nice. It smells familiar. I like to do comparison with reviews for you guys and gals, where I say it smells like another candle. I might have to take this one to the Touch the Fire Twice Facebook community page or something, because I can't put my finger on it right this second. It's quite similar to fragrances from the past, but I don't believe it's a straight up dupe or repackage. Now, it's somewhat fruity. I don't get lime. Not in the way that you'd expect to get lime when they call it out as fresh raw lime. I suppose some sugarcane, if anyone really knows what that smells like. Again, it's one of those things that I don't think sugarcane itself really has that much of a scent, but whatever. A little hint of a floral. This is not a floral scent, though. It really is. It's kind of one of those, almost like dockside or lakeside, kind of slightly watery, kind of sweet, nondescript scent. There's someone is going to be out there. I know my candle fans out there are going to be able to say, if you smell this, what it reminds you of. Maybe it's a failed test scent, but I'm trying to figure it out. It could be a weird one too, like from some holiday collection or something that you would never expect to be lime and sugarcane and vanilla orchid. Now, I thought that it might be similar to, say, like Rain-Kissed Leaves or Dancing Waters. So I have those shower gels here. Let's see if you can see Rain-Kissed Leaves and also a Dancing Waters, just so I can sort of compare to see if they're like either of those. And let me get the Rain-Kissed Leaves going first. Not really. Rainforest Sugarcane is much sweeter. It doesn't have that kind of biting astringency that Rain-Kissed Leaves has. And as far as Dancing Waters, which is a scent that I really, really love, you know, it's almost a little closer to that. Oh, gosh. Yeah, the more I smell this, the more I feel like it might be something similar to something in the past. But kind of generic. I don't love it, I don't hate it. It's not something that I would run out and buy multiples of, but it's inoffensive. It's kind of, this is one that could appeal to the masses if they get into, you know, sugarcane and thinking that it smells sweet like that. Let's move on to the other one that is sort of in that same realm. You know, we've got the Rainforest Sugarcane, and now we've got Island Waters. So another sort of watery candle here. Now this one's very pretty. It's got, the wax is a really aquamarine kind of teal, the cliffs in Hawaii, and just the bright blue water there. So super pretty. And the notes on this one read, dive into an invigorating mix of water notes, lush green palm leaves, and a hint of fresh cut bamboo. Now this is funny because dive into water notes. It's like, okay, that really doesn't tell us much. Ocean water, fresh water. There's, you know, water notes are, I'd like to know what they consider water notes to be. I really like this one. The more I sniff it, it's really nice. Now this one, the wax in this one compared to the other is completely different. It's super incredibly smooth. It's almost kind of like, it's not flat, it's kind of like spilling over itself there, and you can almost see the pour pattern from when they poured it. This one is lighter. I'm gonna have to compare these two, Rainforest and Island Waters, to see the difference here. Rainforest Sugarcane has a bit more of that kind of citrus to it. When I compare them, I get more of the lime from Rainforest Sugarcane than when I did originally on its own. Island Waters is a lot softer, cooler, sweeter. Yeah, I mean, again, they don't tell us much. It's basically greens, bamboo. It's not like a fresh cut bamboo candle or fresh bamboo candle, but who knows if that is an authentic bamboo scent. And let's see, I'm going to again smell Rain-Kissed Leaves and Dancing Waters. Yeah, it's sweet compared to these, actually. I would say it's closest, actually, to really to Dancing Waters. Yeah, again, this is just a sort of borders on generic blend, even though I like it. It is fresh. It's a sweet fresh, not similar to, but in kind of the same family of sweet fresh as I would say Seashore, aka Renew and Refresh. Whereas that's kind of like, it's fresh, it's a little watery, but it's not, there's no hint of powder or musk or bright fruit or any kind of cologne, intense wood notes to it. So it's like a slightly light, sweet fresh, something that on a warm day it wouldn't overwhelm you, whereas say maybe Rainforest Sugarcane, where it's a little bit more intense, might be a little heavy on a hot day. So that's what I get with Island Waters. I like it. Between the two, I think I like Island Waters better. Not that they're exact, you know, competitors, but the closest, I would say, to being competitors. And then we've got, let's see, 3 down, 15 minutes. Not too bad, right? Then we have Black Sands, which when I hear that, I get excited just because I know that this is probably going to be some sort of weird, more complex blend of notes. Kind of could be a mystery to see what it is. And it's a very dark gray, almost black wax with, you know, their black sand beaches there from their volcanic lava overflow. And it says here, visit Hawaii's dramatic black sand beach with an unforgettable blend of ocean mist and exotic amber finished with creamy cedarwood. I'm glad it's not sandalwood because they throw that in a lot of things like this. Ocean Mist makes me think it'll be somewhat like the Oceanside candle, that whole family of scents where you get sort of that strong kind of ozone fresh scent. Amber and cedarwood throw me a bit, so let's sniff. This is nice. I think most people will probably, or not most, some people will dismiss it as cologne, air quotes back here, you can't see them, but cologne. And I think this is borderline to being a duplicate to a failed test scent. Not exactly this one, but it could fall within the line. And it reminds me a lot of Eucalyptus Mint and Rain number 6. Now the notes on that were simply raindrops and eucalyptus mint, creating a lush, fresh fragrance. They didn't really give us anything other than raindrops, eucalyptus, and mint. Now, when I smell that, if anyone has smelled it, because I know that was a failed test scent that kind of was in a lot of stores for the semi-annual sale last year, and it also came out, I believe, as the White Barn Summer Candle, which was a weird limited candle that came out in summer 2013. It's got that round, heavy freshness that borders on kind of a cloying cologne. Black Sands is a much reduced version of that. So, eucalyptus mint, if you know that, I'm not saying Black Sands smells like eucalyptus or mint, but, I mean, quite honestly, I don't think eucalyptus mint smells much of anything like mint. It's got what Bath & Body Works considers to be their eucalyptus, which is kind of a heavy, fresh, somewhat cloying, a little bit overwhelming fragrance. Black Sands isn't as intense. I'm not sure I get cedarwood. I like cedarwood. It's usually more in obviously fall things or, sort of the scents that were released to White Barn stores in the spring. The oak, moss, and vetiver, sage and cedar, which later was turned into black tie, things like that. The funny thing is, again, this could totally be one of those, again, quote-unquote cologne fragrances, but throw the right marketing on it, as black tie proved to everyone. Make people think that it's a hot date and they're snatching them up. Sorry, I don't know what my point was in that rant, but the point being that it could be a fragrance that, at first, go at it in marketing, people don't love, but then if people are into the idea of black sands and exotic black sand beach, then maybe they'd like it more. It's not exactly that. There's more going on. Did they say what else? Yeah, just Ocean Mist, Amber. Again, Amber's usually so heavy. This, I get a little bit of almost powderiness to it. Really, it seems like a lighter, kind of heavy eucalyptus-y, but I don't love it. I love eucalyptus if it's a true eucalyptus, but the Eucalyptus Mint Candle and the Eucalyptus Mint and ... ellipsis collection was not a pure eucalyptus the way that the eucalyptus candle is, or even the way Sweater Weather had kind of a pure eucalyptus note within it. So yeah, this one, a little weird. I think most people say it's kind of cologne-y. It doesn't really smell exotic. It doesn't take me away to an exotic black sand beach, but your mileage may vary. Let's go to the final two. May make this under 25 minutes and make a record. 7 new candles in 25 minutes. All right. Moving on to Hawaiian. Let me not knock over these open shower gels over here. Hawaiian Hibiscus. Now, hibiscus is a flower that I'm not sure where it's indigenous to, but it's very popular in Jamaica. And in fact, in Mexico, they drink hibiscus tea, which is not a tea, it's just an infusion of dried hibiscus flowers. And it's actually called Jamaica. Obviously, the word for Jamaica in Spanish would be Jamaica. I actually showed it in a video. I drink it myself. And in the Destinations, like early 2013 collection, where we had like the Rio, Malibu, not Malibu Smash, Malibu Heat, and then the one Hawaiian, I forget what it was, Hibiscus and Hulas or something like that. In the Aloha Waikiki, that's what it was. That had hibiscus in it, so I showed folks in that video. So if you're interested, check out that video. But it is a flower. The tea or the infusion that when you dry it and then brew it, is intensely, deeply, like crimson, dark cranberry red, and extremely tart. Delicious, but almost as tart as like an unsweetened cranberry. Not cranberry cocktail, but like if you're getting pure cranberry juice, which most folks haven't had before. Very intense, and you have to add sugar to it to sweeten it, but it's actually very healthy to drink straight on its own with no sugar. But anyway, that is what hibiscus is, and they're pretty deeply colored flowers, kind of similar to what you see in the wax here. And Hawaiian hibiscus, the candle, says, experience an island getaway with the fragrant hibiscus, Hawaii's native flower, combined with creamy coconut and jasmine notes. Jasmine is a nice floral when it's used in these kind of tropical or ocean-like floral fragrances, because it's not your heavy powdery grandma's kind of floral note. It's not musky. And this is really nice. I'm not one to love florals. Obviously, I buy them. You get a bit of the coconut like you do in the Lanikai Coconut, so it doesn't scream, like tropical beach vacation. It's tropical, but it's a little bit more, I don't want to say classy, but just less childlike maybe. In that sort of, it's not a bright sort of, Tropicana or whatever the, body oil kind of coconut is. A little bit of coconut. And the hibiscus is really interesting. Jasmine is definitely there as a kind of a sweet, light floral. But there's something with that hibiscus that I think is so interesting. It's sweet, it's a little cool, but bright. It borders on fruity almost, but it's not. And it's almost like, this is really weird, but when I smell it, it's almost like biting into like like a Starburst candy or something sweet, or no, even a Now and Later, like a fruity kind of thing, but that really makes your saliva glands like go on overtime, where it's sweet, but it's got some, like, hits you in the middle of your nose, I hate to say light intensity, but just some weird kind of intriguing note that I assume is within the hibiscus that just brings it like a little bit of a tiny kick of like a tartness that I think is really interesting. So I actually really like this one a lot. I hope it's not too overwhelming when it burns, but I think it's probably in my top 2 or 3 of this collection. And then finally, I'm going to try for 25 minutes here, we've got White Orchid Lei. So this is just kind of a bright green, like a grassy green wax, palm trees on there. Notes are a lei, a chain of beautiful flowers that is a Hawaiian symbol of love, inspired these exquisite notes of lush orchid petals and a hint of melon. So they're just saying orchid petals for your lei with melon. This is nice. This one reminds me of something, and I, again, can't put my fingers on it. It might be something that's from like the White Barn sort of spring floral collection. A little bit, I wish I knew, kind of, not lilac, maybe like freesia a little bit. It's like kind of a fresh floral, so it's not like a grandma perfume floral. It's a little bit younger than that. I think Orchid has probably been in quite a few of like the Tropic Escape collections over the past few years. Again, it's got a little bit of, gosh, I wish I could put my finger on it. I'm going to have to update Facebook with this because I cannot think of it right now. And I've been trying for days. Oh gosh, what is that? Let's see if the wax has anything to it. It's floral, and it definitely has powder to it. That's what I'm trying to figure out with the powder, like Southern Magnolia or something, because it's a mix of watery with a powdery floral, but not a musky floral, if that makes any sense. Maybe that'll help ring a bell. So it's got a bit of kind of a dry powder to it, but not musk at all. Oh, I feel like this was a test scent from a year or 2 ago. I'll try to think of it, guys. I'm really sorry that I don't know. But yeah, I like it, I guess. Orchid, it's a little perfumey. Listen, if you guys can say cologne, I can say perfumey, right? A little perfumey, more so than Hawaiian Hibiscus, which leans a little bit fresher or a little fruitier maybe. But it's not offensive. It's a fresh floral, if anything, because it is obviously, they've got water on the front. It can't be too heavy or cloying. So overall, that is, I guess that's my my sniff and reviews of the Aloha Hawaii collection. Again, as I do my more reviews, I'm turning into the kind of person that buys fragrances even if I don't love them, just because I know as a fragrance fan, if I didn't have access to a test store, I would want to hear all about them from someone who has a similar nose to me. So I like to buy as much as I can for you guys, so I can sort of tell you what I think of them, and because it's fun and it's it's intriguing, new, exciting fragrances. But I don't know that I'd buy all of these if it was just for me. I may give a few of these away to friends or something like that. I wouldn't return them. That's usually not my style to purchase something with the intent of returning it, just to review it. I don't think that's not how I do. But I'm trying to think here, if there are any like I love that, basically if this entire line failed, it wouldn't really be a huge loss. I can't see this being crazy popular the way that the Italian collection was last year. But I would say Pineapple Palmgrass is a pure pineapple if you like that. Lanikai Coconut is nice, but to me, I've got coconut leaves. I don't need another light coconut. Island Waters, I do like kind of a sweet, fresh, watery, for lack of a better word, scent. Rainforest Sugarcane, I could pass on. Black Sands, could also pass on. Orchid Lei, nice, but again, nothing to write home about. These are all just kind of, they're playing it very safe here. It's not your tropical, it's not your destinations collection. It's not your tropical escape collection with your Tiki Beach and things like that. But if anyone was around for the 2011, I think, candle collection, when they did the when they did, got a little blower going. I don't know if that's affecting the noise here. But if you're around for like Sunrise Lagoon and Jungle Kiss, that Tropics collection, which was a large collection, I believe it was early 2012. That's what these kind of remind me of, where they were just kind of nondescript, not really necessary. There were better versions of them with Coconut Leaves or with Tiki Beach than, say, your Jungle Kiss or Sunrise Lagoon, things like that. So, yeah, I guess that's all I've got to say. My favorite two would have to be Hawaiian Hibiscus and Island Waters, I believe. If you have questions about these, hit me up below. Also, check out facebook.com/TouchTheFireTwice. We can continue the discussion there, and where you'll see, sort of sneak peeks into my upcoming videos or purchases that I've made. I hope to have videos up for Heirloom Greens and Snap Peas from the Fresh Picked collection, as well as still doing that pine video that I've been promising for quite a while, and a winter picks. Obviously, I missed my Christmas holiday picks, but I will be doing in January a winter picks video. So that is it for this time, and until next time, take care.